here, and I'm going to introduce fractions today. Fractions are parts of a whole. So what I'm going to teach you first are the vocabulary words that go with it. So the first word is numerator. Say the word numerator. Good. Say it to the screen again, louder. Numerator. Good. The numerator is the number that's on top. So when you're thinking of numerator, it's the number that's on top of the fraction. The other word we're going to learn today is denominator. Let's say that slow. Ready? Denominator. Your turn. Good. The denominator is the number that's under or down. I like to remember denominator with the D for down. So when I'm thinking denominator, okay, that's down, that's underneath the line. So the first word again is what? Good, numerator. The second word is denominator. Both really cool new words that we'll be using a lot. So here we go. Let's look at this picture. We know that fractions are part of a whole. So look at this number. I told you that the numerator is on top and the denominator is underneath. So let's look at this. This number is 4. We read the fraction 1/4. Can you say that? 1/4. Good. That one's tough because you have to add the TH to the end. So let's look at these arrows. They want us to name the parts of these fractions. So looking at this, the arrow's pointing to the 1. What is that number? Is that the numerator or the denominator? Think about my clues. Good. If you said numerator, you are right. Here's the definition that we will be using for numerator. The numerator tells you how many parts you are talking about. So right now we're talking about one part. Here's the picture to represent that. This is the one part. All right, good. Let's put this back. If this is the numerator, do you remember our vocabulary word for this? If you said denominator, the number underneath, you are right. Denominator. Let's take a look at what they want us to know for denominator. The denominator, ready, say it again. Denominator, good. Tells you how many equal parts. That's key. Remember, fractions are part of a whole, and they have to be equal. So let's take a look. I'm going to move both of these, and we read this fraction as 1/4. Good. The 1 being how many parts we're talking about currently, right now, and the denominator is how many parts of the whole. Remember, equal parts. So look at this fraction again. This fraction is showing 1/4. Everyone, let's say that again. 1/4. They colored one part of the whole. Good. Let's take a look at these now. We're going to do some on our own. I've drawn a couple. I want you on your paper to practice this one. 2/4. 2/4. Go ahead and draw your shape and make 4 equal parts. I'll do it as well. Now I'm going to make 4 equal parts. I'm going to show you 2 different ways. Remember, they have to be equal. Now, if we're talking about 2/4, the denominator is how many parts. Remember, this is D for denominator. And the top is how many parts we're talking about. Going back to this one, how many parts you're talking about. So if we have 2/4, what would I need to color in or shade? Yeah, 2. It could be any 2. So that shows 2/4. And if I color in this one and that one, that's 2/4. Sometimes people will say 2 out of 4. And that's correct as well. But you read the fraction 2/4. Good. Let's try this one. 1/3. I want you to go ahead and try. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to see if you can get it on your paper. All right. Look at your paper. Did you draw 3 equal parts? I'll draw 3 equal parts. They need to be equal. The circle is a little tricky. Make sure they're equal. This is not equal. You can't do that one. So let's see. If we have 1/3, they say that fraction would be 1/3. So we know that there's one part that we're talking about. So we need to make this one part. So I can color it or shade it so it's 1/3 or 1 out of 3. For this fraction, it would look like this. 1/3. Again, which one's the denominator? Yeah, the 3. That's how many parts are the whole. Any questions? Write them down for me. Let's look at this one. Which ones are correct? I'm going to hide, and I want you to look at this. Let's say this fraction together. 3/5. What is it? 3/5. Good. Now, which one's the numerator? If you said 3, you are correct. That is the number that we're talking about, the parts. So which one's the denominator? The D, yeah, down, remember? Denominator down. That's how many parts are total. Now let's look at this. Is this correct? Does this fraction show 3/5? Thumbs up if you think it shows 3/5. Good, yeah, it does. It shows 3/5 because it's 3 parts out of 5. All right, next one. Ooh, 4/9. Say that fraction with me, 4/9. Or you could say 4 out of 9. So let's look at this. Let's count them to make sure, because it's a bigger number. We're going to double check. We should have 9 total pieces, because that's what our denominator says. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Do we have 9 equal parts? We don't. What's wrong? Look at this. Is that piece equal to the rest of the pieces? No. So is this fraction representing 4/9? No. It is not equal. So we'll write not equal parts. So we don't like that one. They're not equal. All right, let's do the last one. Ooh, let's see. This says 1/3. Now, let's talk about this one. Let's see how many parts there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I know that my denominator is 6. How many parts do we have colored in for the numerator? Yeah, we have 2. 2, 6. Let's say that. 2, 6. So, as I'm thinking as a mathematician, I could see where I could do this. 1 out of 3 or 1/3. And I could add this 1/3. But that's a lot of work. So just for now, for the introductions to fractions, does this show 1/3? No. But when you watch the next video, take a look at equivalent fractions and you'll see why it actually does show 1/3. And we'll do that next week. You'll be looking at equivalent fractions. But for now, remember that the numerator tells you how many parts you're talking about. And the denominator is how many equal parts it's divided into. So practice them on your own and see if you can get them correct.